All right. I think we are good to go. Finally got everything to work. So here we are. Just gonna wait for a few people to get here. Probably give it about 5 minutes. You know, all the YouTubers who don't have a super large subscriber base, we gotta wait for a few people to get on in here. But I figured I'll kick this one off today. Since I had the time that I don't really have, but said I was gonna do it, so that's what I'm gonna do. Here I am. Let's see. Gonna open up a few other things. Hit that like button on your way in, of course. Alright, let's see. When Kendra gets here, I'll send her the link. But anyway, don't want the playback to be silly. So the topic today is going to be, of course, for those of you who have listened to uh, the earlier video I made uh, previous to this one. Come on. What's going on with my internet? It's crazy. My internet just having some issues for whatever reason. Hmm. What a pain. What a pain. Okay. Now we're connected. I'm going to go into my stream. Alright. Okay. She says she'll be here in 3 to 5 minutes. So, anyway. Today's topic is going to be do men validate undeserving women? Uh, this is a question that me and Kendra have talked about in the past, and we've displayed it and discussed it in many different ways. Um, but I want to go at it at a different aspect, because many of the aspects in regards to um, women being validated by men are centered around what do you call it? Sex. They're pretty much centered around sex. And I want to attempt to attack this issue, not only mentioning sex and bringing up the sex portion of it and how women, of course, are validated behind this, even though that's kind of beating a dead horse, but it is going to be a segue into how these things template across the board um, when it comes to other things. Men, we can validate women by just looking at a woman too long. It's validation. I mean, mostly anything that a woman nowadays, the feminists view as sexist behavior or sexist culture are the things that validate women. I mean, the feminist movement is a weird one because it it tells women the complete opposite of what the path really is for what they're trying to go for. And that also includes uh, the attention that they get from men. They tell women that they shouldn't like that attention and that it's not worth anything. But these are the very things which validate women in the first place. So um, I want to make that clear. So uh, we'll wait for a few more people to get in here. Uh, let's see. Copy. Oh, hold on, Kendra. Let me grab something real quick. I'm gonna connect my phone to my system here. That way I can just uh, branch over links, no problem. 1 second, 1 second. I probably should have had all this stuff hooked up. I was not considering all this. Uh, but let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and hit that. Oh, where did my mouse go? Oh, isn't that fun? Okay, whatever. I'll just put it in the chat. Call it a day. I don't think anybody's gonna be crazy enough to jump up here like that. They don't want to make themselves look like an ass. Oh, where did I really put my? Oh, there it is. It's tripping. All right, got that link out there. This will be my first show where I have anyone on my channel, and of course, it is Kendra. It's very fitting. Live streaming, that is. Very fitting. I'm gonna check my playback real quick. Make sure my volume's good. All right, we're good on the playback. This is partially my test run because I hooked up a whole bunch of new stuff to my system. So, hey, what's going on, cats? Thanks for stopping in. I'm just letting a few people get in here for a minute. Um, trying to keep the the candle burning a little bit. Oh, there she is. Well, hello,
Hi,
hello. How's it going?
fine.
So how
And
was
you?
I'm good as usual. You know, how was it? How was your day?
Fine. I didn't do anything but work, and then
Okay.
I watched the movie. I've been watching Hannibal stuff
Oh yeah,
today.
that is a good
Yeah.
series. Uh,
Hey,
I've
Kat.
actually wanted to get back into watching a lot of the '90s movies again because I seem to forget the stories for whatever reason. But anyway, on to the topic. Thank you for coming on my channel.
No problem.
I appreciate it.
I put it in the
Uh,
community tab, so hopefully people will see it.
that'd be what's up. Hopefully they come through. I mean, they'll see it eventually, you know. Because this is an interesting topic. Like I said, like I was saying earlier, you know, this is a topic that is widely discussed, but I want to attempt to approach it a little bit differently, you know, because that's what I do anyway. I don't see things the same as everyone else. Um, I like to bring in new ideas and different ways of looking at the same thing that we've been looking at all the time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, anyways, the topic, of course, is do men validate women who are undeserving women? Um, what is your take on that? Just to start off, and then I'll give mine.
Um, well, especially in light of the current analogies, um, I'm definitely not for uh I'm definitely not for consorting, male lions consorting with hyenas, which is essentially what this is, because they would be the undeserving females. Um, these females don't have anything else other than their sex to offer to anybody, and everything else. Not only is it not productive, it goes the other way and is destructive to not only themselves but to the men who involve themselves with them. And I
Hmm.
feel like because men and women see validation as two different things, that it's difficult for men to not engage with them because they feel like, well, if I'm not committing to her or getting into a relationship with her or really giving anything other than sex, then I'm not really validating her. I'm just using her for sex. But that only is coming from male point of view. It has nothing to do with what the female is getting out of it, because even a man's sex part of his life. And so
Correct.
if she's receiving even that part, the part that he doesn't think is valuable, but it is, um, then that is enough to validate her.
Yep.
And I think that certain kinds of men should restrict themselves away from certain other females that aren't deserving of him. But
Yep.
I think that that would require the men to have to place a better value upon themselves, their presence, and their light.
Yep.
Hey,
I agree
Topaz.
with that. I definitely agree with that. And that's pretty much what I was saying too. Um, from the aspect of a man's point of view, especially, um, the fact that I have my masculinity intact. It's different levels of masculinity, just like there's different levels of femininity. Though I think the overall expression of them are different in their nature, of course. But I think that uh, men think that their level of masculinity, no matter what it is, when they give something to a woman, they don't think that they're giving part of their power to a woman, because that's what I believe validation translates to. It translates you giving a woman some type of authority over something. You're giving a woman some type of power over something. You're transferring some power to her. I mean, because just like you said, masculine and light should be restricted. Um, but these men, they don't have a lot of uniform chastity or code across the board when dealing with these women. So that's the reason why, men like myself, we get mixed signals when dealing with different women, because they have different experiences with men validating them in different ways. And they oftentimes look to me for certain levels of validation, and I don't give it, of course. Um, but my thing is, uh, men need to be careful how they engage with women, because certain things that, of course, like you said, you don't view as validating are validating, and a lot of times, a lot of that stuff, uh, quiet is kept, in my opinion, from my perspective. A lot of that stuff is non-sexual. A lot of it is non-sexual.
Mm,
From the calls to the text messages to the "Hey girl, what's up? Oh, you look good," et cetera, et cetera. That's validation. It didn't have anything to do with you actually engaging sexually with a woman. Uh, and likewise, I also believe that the validation is what has led these women to feel like they're entitled to treat men the way they do, because of the non-uniformity of chastity across men, in regards to their light and their energy that they're willing to impart to women. Um, and that's the meat of really what I want to talk about. But we'll definitely get there. But I want to ask you, in what ways have you felt validated? Um, not saying that you've entertained men in the past, but these validations are very nuanced. that's the problem with them. They're very nuanced because they don't necessarily intend or are received as validation. They don't intend to be or see it as validation, but they can definitely be categorized as validation. And I want to know what kind of things have you experienced from men in the ways that they have validated you, but they were not aware.
Well, I think men sometimes don't realize, and you touched on it, that their non-sexual validation is actually more valuable than their sexual
Mm,
validation. To be honest, it's more valuable. Like we
mm,
like the sex, but especially in this day and age where sex is so easy to get, because it's not only the kitty that's easy, men are easy.
mm,
Um, that's so easy to get that the non-sexual attention is actually more valuable.
mm,
And excuse me, when a man like checks up on me and expresses any concern or expresses um, interest in me beyond any sex, if he attempts to engage me intellectually, or he attempts to engage me in other facets in order to unlock what kind of person I am, rather than, well, he likes the visual, or he likes the sex, or he like whatever, you know what I'm saying? That to
mm,
me that's a type of validation that he may not understand, um, that he gives. Just
mm,
attempting to see if there is more, you
mm.
know what I'm saying, to me.
Right,
And it actually gives me an opportunity to showcase and say, yeah, this is the type of person that I actually am. You know, I'm more than, you know what I'm saying, the surface things that you liked when
right.
you first met me, or when you first, whatever. So I guess that I'm hoping that answered your question. That, I'm
It
saying
does.
anytime we attempt to unlock you as a person and not just unlock you sexually, then that's a form of validation as well. That's actually a higher form of validation.
Right, right. And the silly part about it is that there is no, as a man, there is no easy way to get around this. There is no easy way to get around trying to avoid validating a woman. And I say that, but let me back it up a little bit. The reason why I'm even doing this stream is because I want to elaborate on why women treat men the way they do. Um, um, it may come about as an unorthodox way of approaching this, but I want to give it a try, see if we can have a conversation about it. Get people interacted and maybe strum up a conversation about the validation of women uh, being paralleled with how women treat men. Because it's my firm belief that women, in my opinion, women are only allowed to do what men allow them to do. Um, and that they may come off as very chauvinistic. It may come off as very self-centered and pompous, but I mean that goes the same for women to a degree. Women we both need things from each other. That's the reason why we here in contrary to each other. As we exist as male and female because we're two halves of one whole. So how we give those things, just like you stated earlier, are very different. Um, and behind that is the validation. This is often sometimes why we talk about women being treated a certain way because of their behavior to men. We never really talk about the behavior of men to women being conflated with how they're being treated by the women. We don't ever talk about that. And I don't know why we keep skimming over that. I mean, we talk on the whole beta male aspect of it. Don't lead with your wallet. Uh, you know, have some dignity, self-respect, etc. But that's like we talk about it so superficially. We don't talk about it in a way that there is any. broad understanding of accountability and how things play out. Because once again, it's my firm belief that a woman will only do what you allow her to do in your life. And if you give her that validation, that whatever she's doing, because this validation is nuanced, remember, whatever she's doing is okay, she's going to continue to do that. And that's why you end up with a knucklehead. That's why you end up with a chick that think it's okay to, uh, do whatever she's going to do and end up messing up your life. She did it because you validated her. Women throw up a lot of shit tests, right? They want to see how much they can get away with. But you could tell a woman no verbally and tell a woman yes physically, and I don't think men understand that. Um, so that's the reason why I'm asking these questions, because I view you as a woman who has a high level of femininity and understanding of femininity, and I view myself, of course, as a woman, as a man who has a high understanding of masculinity. So I think we can come at a good stance when it comes to uh, figuring this out.
Mhm.
So, uh, in my opinion, the ways that men have validated women, I've said some of them earlier. Um, I've I've seen a lot of things. I've seen men validate women by just um, showing her a little bit more attention than he shows everyone else. And it may not be intentional, because she may be a decently looking woman, so you're naturally drawn and attracted to her, but you don't know her as a person enough to be validating her more than everyone else around her. And that can lead you into um, a slippery slope. I mean, because that's essentially what it turns into. You let her get away with something, or she says something slick, and you don't break off your attention. She's gonna think, oh yeah, he's going for it. He's cool with that.
Mhm.
But in that
And
all
see,
actuality, that's not the truth. Go ahead.
and see that's part of what's good. And see that's part of it, because see sometimes guys are one track minded. Well, I'm
Mm,
only going to sleep with her, so I don't have to know her. I don't have
mm,
to know what kind of person she is. I don't have to know. Excuse me. I don't have to know. All of these different in depth details about her. I'm just here to smash.
mm-hmm.
And sometimes you'll have a guy that'll wait around and wade through her horrible behavior just to get to that point.
Right. Yep.
But see
Validating her all the way
that,
up.
yeah, but see that validates the goofy stuff,
Yep.
because he's gonna feel like, oh well, dudes like this kind of behavior.
Yep.
They like when I talk slick and disrespect and say little goofy stuff to them and act this way and cop an attitude over here and do all of this kind of basically I'm engaged in hyena tactics.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying, me engaging in hyena tactics, I still get what I want out of him.
Yep.
I get some sex out of him. I might have got some uh dates out of them, or a couple of dollars out of them, or or I just got to. It could even be so much as I get to tell my friends that I'm even talking to this dude.
Mm-hmm.
This is where
Yep.
you get chicks taking pictures while you sleep.
Oh yeah.
So she gonna tell her friend, "Look, girl, this who I have to meet, girl," and she gonna ham it up, girl. What I'm saying, he'll let me do anything, girl, for a taste of this ass, girl.
Yep.
I be talking to him crazy. He just sit there with his
Yep.
stupid stuff. He's so stupid, girl. I'm gonna get a couple of more dollars up out of him, because girl,
Uh-huh.
I got him wrapped up. She get to tell her
Yep.
friends that, right? And now once he now in on his mind, he's doing nothing more than saying, as soon as I get this tap this a couple of times, I'm
I'm
out.
out. Yep.
I am not hanging around. This is not a relationship. I am not going nowhere with this chick. Matter of fact, I ain't even gonna tell my friends I'm dealing with this chick.
Yep.
Meanwhile, on her end, you're on Facebook as a, relationship status talking about it's complicated. So, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff is going on. So, you know, it just it's partially why the hyena tactics keep going. I'm
Yep.
not gonna blame it all on the men's validation because you being a hyena is your problem.
Yep.
But at the same time, a little bit of that, is kind of on the higher quality. I put this more on the higher quality men too,
Yeah.
not the hyena males. The
Hmm.
hyena males don't nobody care what they do,
Yep.
but the higher level men, what I'm saying, the men who are about something, thinking men, men who have things going on in their life, that's worth something. They got a thought working in their head, and they not just slumming it every day and all this kind of stuff. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Those men actually should be out of the league of the hyena. She should
Yep.
not even know that man exists. He
Yep.
should be so far away from her circle that, what I'm saying, it's unimaginable. And I'm gonna cut this short so
No, you good.
not to be super long winded. But this is part of the problem of the black community is that we don't separate each other by class.
Yep.
Because see, in the white community, the masses of the universe dudes are nowhere near the trailer trash females.
Nope.
He's nowhere near her.
You never see that.
She's so out of thought, out of mind. She knows she can't get that guy. You know what I'm saying? No matter what she do, she knows she can't get that guy. She gonna have to
Mm.
come all the way up. You talking about leveling up? That's some leveling up for your butt. She not
Hmm.
gonna be able to jump them many levels to get to his circle to where she's on his radar.
Right.
But in the black community, we all together. So
Right.
a black man who may have all his ducks in a row, you know what I'm saying, and he just really got it popping, he's in the vicinity of a hyena strad
Hmm.
somewhere. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yep. And she
where
checking.
she can get, she can set her paws on him too.
Hmm.
She figured that. She figured if I wag my butt a few times and I do this and do that, I'll be able to get this dude's attention. And
Right.
our men just do not have self-esteem. Y'all don't have
Yeah. I,
high self-esteem, not you, but
well.
just in general. I don't think that black men have a lot of high self-esteem and high self-value where they say this chick is not worthy of me, not even to have sex with, and stop making your sex and your sexual life of such non-significance and such
Hmm.
non-importance, because in this day and age that sex is so available and so easily to acquire, you actually should be more disciplined about it.
Yep.
You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? You actually should be more disciplined about it,
Yep.
not less disciplined about it, because it's not something that's rare. You ain't waking up every morning going crazy to get something off of McDonald's dollar menu. It's been
Right.
there forever. It's the same raggedy fish fillet sandwiches with too much tartar sauce on there. It's the same one. So
Hmm.
you ain't waking up in the morning fiending. You know what I'm saying? You just got to get you that McDonald's little fish sandwich with that little processed piece of cheese on there. You got to get it. I mean, ain't nobody sweating it. It's McDonald's. Oh well, and there's nothing special about that. Matter of fact, people laugh at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't take your date to McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Not if you were serious about it and not trolling her.
Right.
So what I'm saying? Getting sex, especially in this day and age, is the same thing.
Right.
It's so abundant that men shouldn't be tripping over it no more.
Yep.
It's like, okay, whatever. It's a bunch of chicks. They ready to give it up. I know that. So since that's the case, all of these chicks ain't about to get me.
Yep. Take your
And I
time.
know from. I'm sorry.
Yep. Well, I'm just saying, take your time. Definitely. Take your time.
Yeah.
And
So
and
so many. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Not if you talking.
well, and that's the thing of it. So the build up of it is, let's say you got 1 out of 10 things that a woman is trying to get away with in some way, shape, or form. Let's say, she want to see if she can be late. She want to see if she can be argumentative. She want to see if she can, throw tantrums. She want to see if she can get some money. She want to see if she can get a car. The list keeps going up. And what happens is she keeps meeting dudes who meet this list that will jump off. Like she'll meet a dude that she can get argumentative with, and he'll deal with it for a little bit. She'll try to go to the next thing, and he'll jump off. Well, now she's reached a threshold where she knows that she's met enough dudes where she can be argumentative with them, and they'll deal with it. Then she'll try the next level of dude, and she'll see what his threshold. That's how these fours and fives and these strags and these undeserving women end up getting to the point where they feel they have such a grandiose expectation of men that they don't owe nobody no explanation or respect, or they don't owe no honor or nothing, because men have been validating their shit from 1 through 10 all the way up. And a lot of men, we tend to think that we can't be accountable for other men, which we can't be accountable for other men, but we can be accountable for what we do. The buck stops here. The buck stops here. Don't validate none of that fuckery if you don't want it to come back on another man, or you don't want your sons or your cousins or your brothers, because you know it's a small pool of people. You got to remember that the black community is still vast, but we only make up a small pool of people within the United States, and then we intermingle at a rate that's pretty much the same as every other race. But that means that in our small pool of people, we're dealing with each other multiple times. So that mentality is getting spread around very fast because we're dealing with a small volume of people, and the validation just keeps going up and up and up. And I don't think men are paying attention to this. I mean, even myself, I've been guilty of it. I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't validated an undeserving chick. But now that I understand how this monster was created, I no longer participate in it. There have been plenty of times I went to Walmart or I went out in public, um, and there'll be chicks eyeballing me up and down. The good-looking chicks. But I already know what the mentality is because I see how they carry themselves. I feel their energy. I know what their aura is. Uh, I don't validate them. I don't even look. I'll look at them, and I look over their shoulder just so they know that I saw them, but I see something else that's more important than you. You know, I make sure that I knock out all that validation. You're not gonna get away with it with me. And I think other men need to have that same level of chastity so that we can get the respect that we deserve. Because so long as we are validating these chicks, the more they're gonna feel entitled that they can continue on with their fuckery. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, we want to blame it on the beta males. We want to blame it on um, you know, the men who are less than men, the low masculinity men. But you can't necessarily blame it on them because a lot of these chicks understand that these men don't come with a lot of masculinity anyway, and they're easy to run over. Women like a challenge, especially these strags out here. They love a challenge. They like a man that they can see, they can take down. That's the reason why these basketball players and these rappers and all these stars are so popular and so. It's not necessarily because the money. The money has something to do with it, but they want to see if they can tackle down that beast. They want to see if they can knock him off his square. Um, that's what I've encountered a lot of times. They want to see if they can. Because I've tested this out. I've tested this out. Many years back. I would come across a chick that was really really interested in me. And as soon as I showed her some little interest, she was gone. And I used to be like, huh. So I tested it a few more times. That's where it comes from. She wants to see if she can get that validation from you that she's accepted as she is, so that she can feel good about herself or whatever the hell they do with it. But it still translates into the disrespect of black men because we're still dealing with a small pool of people here. You know, so we can't necessarily say that it's all on the shoulders of these beta males. We can't say that it's on the shoulders of the simps. The high level men engage in the same shit too, because if they didn't, then we would automatically come to a threshold where these women didn't view these men as they can get over on them. they view or that they don't respect them, or no matter what they have or what they accomplish, they don't care because some dude who has the same level of success as you validated the chick who's disrespecting you now. That's all. That's what happened.
Mm.
Exactly what happened.
Yeah,
What's your
but
take
like
on that?
you, with the lower level men kind of don't count in this,
Mm,
um, only because lower level deal with lower level anyway.
mm,
A trailer trash dude is gonna deal with a trailer trash chick
mm,
because he can't go anywhere else to get another type of woman. Um, if you a crackhead, you probably gonna deal with other crackheads. You know what I'm saying? And call
mm-hmm.
yourself that's your girlfriend or whatever, because you're not gonna be able to, as a current crackhead, you're not gonna be able to go to a non-crackhead woman and be
mm,
calling yourself gonna run a relationship with her, because you're not gonna go for it, because you automatically lower than her.
mm,
It's like, okay, so no, I'm not dealing with you at all. You know what I'm saying? You got nasty little crack habits. We're not doing this.
right.
I mean, so the lower level men are doing what they supposed to do by getting lower level chicks.
Yep.
It's the higher level men that's dealing with the lower level chicks that makes a problem, because it's like, I can't stress it enough. Some of these chicks should be just off of the table to him,
Mm, mm-hmm.
just off the table, just because she's not worth it.
Yep.
Who is she? You know what I'm saying? Just because she cute. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yep.
some cute
Yep.
women on his level. I'm willing
Mm,
to bet that there are good looking women you know what I'm saying, that are of a better caliber of woman that deserve, you know what I'm saying, I don't like to use deserve, but you know what I'm saying, can earn his validation
right.
or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't
That
have
are
to do.
worthy. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is partially why, this may be branch off into something else, but this is partially why I cringe when I'm in these red pit spaces and I hear the men who would be considered higher level squawking and whining about what a hyena likes
Mm,
and what she doesn't like.
mm,
You should not be dealing with her.
mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what she likes,
Yep.
according to you. You should not be concerned. Her and her list of desires are not your concerns
Yep. Yep.
anyway. So I'll be trying to figure out, why do you want Sharkeisha in the hood? What does it matter if she's dealing with the so-called Pookie and Ray Ray? That's what she's supposed to do.
Right. Yep.
She's not supposed to be able to come and deal with a higher grade of man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Especially not no man that's several leaps, you know what I'm saying, above the little hood dude that can't hardly read out loud and all this other stuff. I mean, and they talk, well, she picks those men and then comes to get us. Why are you even around for her to even talk to you about uh stepfather and her 6 kids?
Yeah.
Why? Why are you there? You shouldn't even be talking to you. Why she got your number? Why she
Yep.
know where to find you? She shouldn't even know where to find you.
And that's a funny thing, because um, as everyone know, I select for submission. Submission does have it has a certain physical shape to it. It has a certain outwardly mannerism to it, but it doesn't have a specific look to it. I can't say that you know. I would choose that this is reason why I go with the stance I go. I'll take a submissive 6.5 over an argumentative 9 any day, any day. It's not even a no brainer. I ran into so many chicks where they had the looks definitely going on, but just the mannerism, the mannerism, and once again, other men, they will see this woman and they will be like, oh yeah, they'll skip over the woman who's doing everything right, and that is part of the problem. They'll skip over the one who's doing everything right, who is the ideal woman in regards to submission and what she can contribute to a man's life, for a chick who's externally beautiful, more so than the woman who has the internal workings to further you in life. I mean, cheap thrills are just that. I mean, they're cheap thrills. Um, the woman who has the nice body, the nice designer clothes, she's got her hair did. If her attitude is horrible, what is she's really worth to you? What can she invest in your life? What can she help you with? I mean, like you said, sex is in abundance. I mean, um, so we as men, we should have more chastity about ourselves, more ability to abstain. Your masculinity should be so much in check that you don't even breathe the same air with a strap. You know what I mean? Set aside from having to go to different places here and there, but you shouldn't be in the vicinity of those same women due to your masculinity. I repel so many women, because they look at me, but they can feel that energy coming off me, and they just kind of go around a little bit. I'll be walking down the aisle, and they'll kind of walk by, and they'll kind of like scoot a little bit because they feel that energy. You should be felt. Your masculinity should speak for you before you even utter a word. You know, um, there's been plenty of women who told me, it's just something. When a lot of women who don't have that certain level of femininity, they can't interpret masculinity correctly. But they've told me plenty of times, it's just something about you that, it just commands authority. Like I just gotta do what you say, And they will sit there and be fighting it like I don't want to do that,. I just gotta do it. So much so that I repel women who aren't deserving of me. I send out that energy like don't even look this way. Without even saying it. Don't even look this way. And I think more men need to take up this same mentality. I mean, a quick glance, little quick glance at the yams, that's all right. But you know, as far as long staring and licking your lips and throwing the little body signals, cut it out, because what that's going to interpret is that everything that she is, even though you don't even know her and she know you don't know her, everything that she is, she's going to be like, oh well, I'm the shit.
Mhm.
When that is completely off key a lot of times. Um,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
it gets silly. It gets I don't know. It's a weird topic to me. But I think it's important to have.
I'm gonna speak a little bit on the average looking chick versus the really good looking chick.
Hmm.
Guys, I get it. I may not be a guy, but I get it. I get that you want to be able to tell your boys that you bodied a bad little bitch.
Hmm.
Body, you got her. Okay, I get it. However, I'm gonna tell you something. Us average looking chicks, we got the same thing between our thighs that she got. And I wager you that we're better at it
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
she had to just lay there and be a pillow princess and be cute. And you're supposed to be enamored of the fact that she's beautiful. With us average looking chicks, we know you're not enamored necessarily of our beauty, even though you may not think we're ugly, but we're not 10s. So you don't think we're beautiful necessarily either. So we
Hmm.
work to make you feel a certain type of way about it because we can't really afford to be pillow princesses, but that doesn't work for us. Okay.
Hmm.
So that's just my little PSA on that. And just my opinion, it may not mean anything, but if you gotta deal with the baddest little chicks, deal with that when you're young, when you're a young man, when it's excusable for you to not really be in
Hmm.
relationships stuff, you know what I'm saying? And you're just a walking piece of testosterone and you just
Hmm.
want to get it off on a chick and she look good and you can tell your boys and blah, 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 and all of that. I know men aren't going to stop doing that, but you shouldn't be doing that up into your 40s. It gets a little silly because you should be used to sex by now with any chick, and you should be used to the point where any chick, no matter what the outward shell look like, is still just kitty cat.
Right.
You know, I don't know how else to say that. It loses its luster after a while, or whatever. So if you run across the average chick and she ain't no, I ain't telling you to go get a swamp donkey on, but I'm saying, what I'm saying, if she cute, and she's doing what she needs to do as far as what you need a woman to do in a relationship with you, what I'm saying, and then a 10 walk by and flaunts her ass at you, don't throw away the average girl to get the few minutes with that chick. Like,
Yep.
don't throw her away. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Because see, that's the opposite end of validation. The
Yep.
opposite end of it is to not be validated.
Yep.
And
Is
to
the
not be
rejection.
validated is actually worse
Yep.
because women survive off of that. Validation is simply a woman's ability to accept male light
Mm-hmm.
and a man's willingness to give her some.
Yep.
That is what validation is. We kind of thrive off of validation. That's why you hear men say we like DNA. It's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you are the type of man, I lost my train of thought just that fast. But in any case, women women like that type of validation. That's what validation is for us. And
Yep.
to not be validated, what I'm saying, especially by a chick that would be considered a good chick, you basically, what I'm saying, are she will start shutting down and saying, okay, me being a certain kind of way does not result in a man being willing to give me his light.
Yep. Yep. And it also converts a lot of chicks too. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
it will. Like you'll take a good chick. Like I know I've heard dudes say, man, I had a chick in my past and she was everything I wanted, but I was young, or I was at a different place and I wasn't paying attention to the type of woman she was. And
Mm-hmm.
I let it pass because I was doing goofy shit with her. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of taking it seriously and seeing what kind of woman I had in front of me, I was busy on some nigga shit. So, so since I was doing that, I messed up. She got tired of me. She went on ahead and to some other man, and only after dealing with so many hyenas did I look back and say I could have had a lioness, but I
Yep.
didn't even realize what I was looking at. I was so busy chasing easy hyena tail that I didn't figure out that there was a lioness that was trying to. She was trying to cater to me. She was trying to do what I needed her to do, but I just wasn't in that headspace to basically take advantage of that situation, and so the situation left.
Yep.
So,
And and,
yeah,
it, and that's another thing about it too. I've oftentimes heard that a lot of these women, decent looking women, really really good looking women, they like older men. And the reason why they like older men is because they don't overly validate them. The novelty of sex for older men is gone away. You know, they're looking for a piece of arm candy and maybe some decent conversation, halfway decent conversation. That's about it. The novelty of sex is going away, so the validation is completely different. But to go back to what you were saying about the non-validation of women, I firmly believe that is also uh, curving women to treat men a certain way. Once again, I mean, all of this behavior from women, and whoever whoever out there can shoot me down on it, but I'm talking about the perpetuation of the behavior, not the creation of it per se, but the perpetuation of behavior derives from what men choose to do and not do. That's simply what it comes from. I mean, we can't on one hand say that men are above women, and then on the other hand say that we're not responsible for some of the behaviors that women display. You know, um, we hold some authority in how we carry ourselves. Therefore, we hold some authority over what our dominion portion of it is, and that is the dominion over the world. There's not a corner of this earth that probably that has more than 10 people in it that doesn't have a male head in it somewhere. Um, so we can't just brush off that, you know, this is a coincidental thing to what a man does. That the way that women treat men is is doesn't have anything to do with it. You know, we can't do that anymore. I think that's becoming a detriment to us because my firm belief is if you cannot access where your responsibility lies, you can't properly wield your power. Um, because if you on one hand want to have all this power and authority over women, women should be respecting me, women should be doing this, but you don't take any responsibility for how they were respecting you and why they're not respecting you, then you have an improper balance and it's going to lead into dysfunction. um, it's just the way I see it. But anyways, I'm gonna close this out. I know you're getting tired. I can hear you over there falling down a little bit.
Oh no, I didn't fall asleep.
Not yet, but you're close. I know.
In
But
about
anyways,
45 minutes, I'll be knocked out.
I know, I know, I already know, I
Who
already know.
told you to know my sleep schedule? You don't know my
Huh?
sleep. Who told you to know my sleep schedule? You're not supposed to know. You're not supposed to know.
It's my job to understand the space around me.
Well, fine. Fine then.
Well, if you don't have anything else to say, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. See if chat got something to say about this, and then
No,
we can call it a night.
I don't have nothing to say.
All right. Y'all out there got anything to say? Let's see. Let me go through the chat. Let's see. We got. Let's go. Let's go through who we got in the building. We got Cats in there, bit Topaz in there. I need to stop over at Topaz channel. I haven't been over there in a minute. Sheep State Sleep, the homeboy, definitely. Who else we got? George Fraser, the homie. He always shout me out. George Fraser. Uh, see who else we got in here. Got definitely BJ. BJ come through with all the good live streams too.
He
Um,
does. BJ
he
be
do.
cooking. Y'all need to really
Yeah,
check BJ out.
yeah. Let's see. Darian Marion. Yeah, Darren Marion. I've seen him around before too. What's up with you, homie? Uh, Fabian. I haven't seen that person before. I actually no, I have. I have seen Fabian before. Tony Smith, definitely. Tony Smith be cruising the streets.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it look like we
There's
got
some
any
interesting stuff
questions?
happening on these YouTube streets tonight too.
Huh?
I say there was some interesting stuff happening on these YouTube streets tonight too.
Yeah, everybody's blowing up about Kobe Bryant and the way these. I mean, my thing is how much more evidence do you need to call it?
You really should need no more. Once you hear a hyena cackle, that should be all you need.
Yeah, and you should be heading the other way or out the door. See you later. I don't know what to tell you, whatever. But none of that entertaining stuff. That's why they come over here. I ain't got no words for them like that. Throw them a head nod, what up, and keep it moving. But anyways, I want to thank everyone for coming through, and definitely my special guest, the Crimson Cure.
Thank you for
You're
having me
welcome.
on.
No problem. We'll chop it up definitely again. But to everyone out there, may you have a good day, and peace be with you.
Okay. Bye bye.